Right, our time has just gone 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Many thanks to the news team. We have another bulletin coming through at exactly 12 midday, which is when you also get to step out and make way for the Chuprim freeway right here on Power between 12 and 3 o'clock. Like we did promise you, every single Thursday, around about 10:30 until 11, we have an interview. We've got a guest in the studio, and today we just moved it up to this time. But all the same, the interview will continue. And it's my pleasure to welcome into the studio this morning Patricia Mabiko. She's representing World Education Incorporated, Bantwana, and she's the media management consultant for that organization. Patricia, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, Tendai. Great to see you. You're looking good.
Thank you. You're looking good yourself, too.
Thank you.
Right, and you will introduce us to the other two guests that you have with you today, but maybe just a bit of background information on this organization that you're representing today.
Okay, thank you very much tonight. Well, I'm with World Education Incorporated Bantwana, and we're concerned about the statistics that are speaking into gender-based violence in Zimbabwe. A lot of the times when you hear gender-based violence, you don't really think deeply into it because you think, it's to do with women and it's a women's issue.
Yeah.
But what's becoming really evident is that it's a community issue and it's affecting us in a very bad way.
Sure.
For example, 40% of women in Zimbabwe who are married view violence as acceptable, and we're concerned about that. 1/3 of adolescent girls in Zimbabwe are sexually abused before the age of 18. So out of every 3 girls you see walking down the street, one
has been abused.
And that's worrying.
That's
worrying. I mean, if you look at the cases in courts, in Zimbabwean courts, 60% of the cases in Zimbabwean courts are to do with child sexual abuse. That is very worrying.
Very disturbing.
And it's even worse when you're looking at disability, when you're looking at people who are physically or mentally challenged. It's even worse. And I've got today with me Mr. Janga, who is the GBV coordinator for Leonard Cheshire Disability Zimbabwe Trust, and as well as Mai Charamba, who's one of the brand ambassadors on this project, on this GBV campaign project.
Right.
So that's why we're here. We're here because we want people to be aware that these issues are serious. We want every member of the community to think seriously about these issues. And I think hopefully God wishes Janga will have an opportunity to give us the story of what just happened to a young girl who's physically challenged as far as GBV is concerned.
Right. So your issue of then approaching some of the artists to work with on this campaign, what was that about?
It's because artists speak in their messages, in the music. So we want to latch on to that. Because if talking on radio, talking is not enough, is writing in the papers is not enough. So we're thinking, let's get artists to sing about this issue.
Sure.
So as people are dancing or they enjoy the song, they can listen to the messages.
Okay.
But also artists like Mai Charamba, for example, have their own fans. They've got thousands and thousands of people who love them, who listen to them, who will pay attention. And we would like to utilize that opportunity to have Mai Charamba speak about these serious issues because she's also a woman. At the end of the day, she's a musician, but she's a woman, and so she has relatives or friends who do experience these things, and we would like her to be human about gender-based violence outside of her being a successful musician.
Let me just commend you for your choices of brand ambassadors, because sometimes when people come up with a project, or you hear of a corporate that's chosen this artist as a brand ambassador, and you say to yourself, what are they saying about what they're trying to do? So I think in your case you have made the right choice. I know you're working with Mai Charamba, you're working with Cynthia, you're working with Alex as well. Right. Well done.
Thank you.
I think that's a perfect choice.
Thank
now,
you very
coming
much.
to you, Mr. Janga, do tell us what's your involvement in this project that we are talking about this morning?
Okay. Thank you so much. I come from the organization called Leonard Cheshire Zimbabwe Trust. It's an organization striving for the creation of equal opportunities for people with disability. So we have realized that people with disability in all aspects of life, they are lagging behind. And I also want to take this opportunity from what Patricia was saying, that in terms of statistics, sure, statistics, they reflect, they double the figure that the normal statistics usually reflects.
Right.
Most cases of GBV, they go unreported. Possibly because of the rigid boundaries associated with people with disability.
Right.
Let's not forget the stigma and discrimination that is associated with it. So basically, that's what we have decided to come up with a program that looks at people with disability. How are they being gender-based violence in terms of their life. So in a nutshell, that's what we are looking at.
And maybe you might just want to shed a bit of light on this case that we're talking about off air of the young woman that's before the courts right now.
Yeah, sure. I've got a case. In fact, let me say it's a case which is still under police investigations. But I find it necessary that we should share with the nation concerning how sometimes gender-based violence can be perpetrated against people with disability. There is this young lady. I'm not going to mention the name, but I will just say in passing. There's this young lady, now she's aged 21, but this case happened last year. She has got a cerebral palsy condition, which normally affects the body parts to tumble a lot. So in such a situation, you find that this lady, when she wants to walk, she uses her tummy because she doesn't have a wheelchair. So she's also has difficulty in sitting, and she can't even talk.
Wow.
Right. So these three conditions you can see in one person.
It's a bit much,
whenever she stays with her mother, I have to mention that, and the father had deserted the family because of this child when she was born, and now the mother, maybe because of too much, should I say,
it can't be easy on her.
Yes, I wanted to use the word overwhelming responses.
Right.
That's the word that I want to use. Because right now she has to look after other children that are there, including this child
one as well.
Yes. So because of that kind of situation, she becomes hostile to the child.
All right.
And now to an extent that she was now, this lady was now being left alone whenever the mother was going out. Like maybe, for example, when she was going to a church, attending to the fields, or possibly visiting friends and relatives.
Right. So
the mother was now in a habit of locking up the girl. Yes. So little known to her, there was someone who was observing all these movements or monitoring these movements, so to speak. And maybe it's one man, nobody knows up to now. Maybe there were so many men, nobody knows. But let me say there was someone who was observing the movements of the mother. And then this particular person now begins to sexually abuse the girl. And to an extent that she got pregnant.
Oh no.
And this was discovered after 6 months, when she was 6 months pregnant.
Right.
Yes. And this was revealed at the clinic, but not from the mother. We have to point it out. Yes. This was revealed at the clinic after a neighbor witnessed that there was now, because this girl was now developing a habit of crying all the time, maybe because of some funny pains in her stomach, but nobody was even looking after her. So this neighbor advised the mother that, why don't you take the child to the clinic? And that is where it was revealed at the clinic that the child is 6 months pregnant. And the mother was shocked.
Oh, Lord.
And right now, the issue is under police investigation. And
has she given birth, so?
Not
what's
yet.
Her condition now?
The condition now is, when I was communicating with the doctors, they were talking about trying to induce, because the girl is now in pain as I'm speaking.
Lord, I can't imagine
so we just hope that maybe everything is going to be fine. So it's something that I wanted to share, how sometimes the gender-based violence can be serious and be perpetrated against people with disability.